9-year-old Prince George has become the youngest future king to play an official role at a coronation. And although some might think that he was pushed into being the page of honour, it's actually not the case. In fact, George was the one who wanted to take on a bigger responsibility at the ceremony, and his proud parents supported the decision, but at the same time they understood the pressure of the duty and their son's anxiety. Prince William was about the same age as George when he became actively engaged in royal social life. At that time, he was always nervous in public. Some even called him shy because William had a habit of keeping his head down. There's a lot of pressure when you're constantly in the spotlight, especially when you hold the title of future king. So William was understandably worried about George, especially as he knows firsthand what the stress is like. When William was a child, he didn't get much attention from his father, so he wants to ensure he gives his children the emotional support he lacked back then. Royal fans have long noticed that William used to always hold George's hand. Some even believed that he was an overly controlling father, but in fact, the Prince of Wales is just trying his best to be a caring dad. William is very attentive to his children, even when it seems like he's not looking. On one occasion during a visit to Wimbledon, George had to wear an adult suit. The boy complained that he felt too hot in it, but William managed to comfort him quite easily. He explained to the young prince that wearing a suit was part of the dress code and there was nothing they could do about it. While expounding on that, William carefully stroked George's hair and back and assured him that everything would be fine. So it's no wonder that the boy is often seen looking at his father for silent support. For example, at Prince Philip's memorial service, George stopped at the entrance for a second. William immediately put both hands on the boy's shoulders and took his hand. Thus he helped his son understand what he had to do and avoid getting confused. It's definitely not easy to raise royal children. William and Kate have a heavy burden on their shoulders.
And although you don't want to sort of scare them and make it too overwhelming, I think it is appropriate to acknowledge it in the simple ways and in age-appropriate ways.
To make sure that they raise their children well, the royal couple has strict rules for them. For example, George, Charlotte and Louis can never raise their voice in public. Even when they're playing, they aren't allowed to yell. If one of them starts shouting or misbehaving in any way, the parents take them somewhere else and give them a disciplinary talk. Afterwards, the child has one chance to get it together. And if they behave badly again, the game is over and William and Kate will remove them from the area. However, the royal parents don't just dictate their kids' do's and don'ts. They lead by example. The no shouting rule applies to them as well. Instead of raising their voices, they calmly explain everything to their kids. Plus, the royal couple never argue with each other in front of the little ones. A source shared that in their family, there is no question of one parent saying no and another one saying yes. William and Kate always present as a unified parental front. The royal couple also get down on their knees for serious conversations. That way, they can talk to their children eye to eye instead of doing it in a condescending manner. Despite their high status, Kate and Will do their best to give their kids as normal life as possible. For that, Princess Catherine uses examples from her own childhood.
I had an amazing granny who devoted a lot of time for us, playing with us, doing arts and crafts and going into her greenhouse, doing gardening stuff and cooking with us. And I try and incorporate a lot of the experiences that she gave us at the time into the experiences that I give my children now.
Among other things, it's important for Kate that her little ones play outdoors often.
Children, we spend an awful lot of time outside, and it's something I'm really passionate about. I think it's so great for physical well-being and also mental well-being.
Those outdoor activities include bike rides, gardening and playing with their dogs. But of course the royal parents can't be with their children all the time. Due to their large amount of work engagements, William and Kate need help raising them. Some experts even say that Kate would be lost without their children's nanny. Her name is Maria Borrallo.
She's very rarely photographed, she's very rarely seen, but she is always there.
Maria is one of those nannies who are specially trained to raise royal children.
A bit like James Bond meeting Mary Poppins, if you like. I think that's how some people have put it.
And she seems to be doing a good job, because from these sweet photos, It's pretty clear that the little ones love Maria. But William and Kate aren't the type of royal parents who expect someone else to raise their children. Instead, they try to be there for them as much as they can.
We're told that they very much plan their diary around the fact that one of them needs to be there both in the morning and at night for bedtime.
William and Kate do school pickup. They are there for the kids' bath time and tea time. From what we saw at the coronation, their efforts have paid off. It was lovely to see the siblings looking out for each other. It even seemed like they didn't need any cues from their mum and dad. According to a body language expert, they moved like one well-oiled team of 5 people, 2 parents and 3 children. And in this team, it's not only George who's getting more and more responsibilities. Charlotte is too. The princess became Catherine's little helper as she was spotted holding her younger brother, Louis's hand. And she's been praised for her behaviour at the coronation. Some have called Charlotte the royal family's secret weapon for her poised manners throughout the 3-day celebrations. Experts even say that she'll probably have a work ethic like Princess Anne, with the style of her mother. Well, we can only say that the royal family should count their blessings with this little girl. Due to all the rules in their family, William and Catherine have created a bond of trust with their children. They can even step back and enjoy a more hands-off approach, like they did during the coronation. And at the same time, they don't frown upon their childish behaviour. Louis, for example, was spotted making faces during the procession and playfully waving his hands on the balcony. Neither William nor Kate tried to correct him or keep him in line. They just allowed him to play and calm down by himself. At the same time, Kate was often noticed giving Louis a motivational reward. Whenever he did something right, she'd touch him affectionately. At the big help out after the coronation, all 3 kids were very active, and their parents were very subtle and showed no signs of controlling them. It was fun to see Charlotte behaving like a normal kid, especially when she dropped a s'more but followed the 5-second rule and popped it in her mouth. It showed the girl's playful and down-to-earth nature. It's clear that Kate and William are confident in their children, and it's interesting that the royal kids already seem to have an influence on the adults. For example, George reportedly persuaded his grandfather to change one of the centuries-old coronation traditions. Turns out, the boy feared that he'd be bullied over having to wear white knee breeches. The king decided to support his grandson and agreed to replace breeches and tights with trousers, and it appears that Prince Louis is also a huge help to the adults, despite being only 5. Reportedly, he managed to soothe his grandfather when he started getting stressed out ahead of the coronation. And he did it by simply being there. According to an insider, King Charles was exhausted in the middle of one of the rehearsals. He looked glum, but then he suddenly saw Louis standing by him. The king's eyes lit up immediately, and he called his grandson over. He started showing Louis all the regalia and explaining what they meant. By the end of their little chat, Charles looked much better and was able to continue the rehearsal. William and Kate try their best to ease the pressure from their kids at royal events so that the little ones can enjoy them. These occasions shouldn't be seen as a chore, bore, or a challenge, and it looks like the royal couple is successful in that. Share in the comments below what you think about William and Kate's parenting rules. To learn more about the royal family, watch our other videos. And don't forget to subscribe to OSSA Royals.